Let's get to Dimmer at Richmond. He's been punchy at times, Caro, with the media along the way, and Jonathan Brown was the latest in his sights, and this caused a bit of a storm on the weekend.
Well, if I'm looking at Tom Lynch, 2 disposals, Gaz. He's hardly been in the contest today all day. He's wanted to stay inside 30 metres, needs to get up and get to work and get involved. Lynch hasn't been able to contribute.
What I will say, it's very easy in the cheap sheets. I think what people tend to do is they tend to forget how hard this game is. Once again, mate, the critics, they sit there and they judge from afar and, you know, come and sit on the field and see you go. You know, Brownie's capable of putting his hand up to coach at some stage. If he wants to coach, by all means, put your hand up. Seriously, give me his job. Let's swap for a week.
Oh, Dimmer's lost it. Seriously. A part of the motto at Richmond was be humble. Dimmer hasn't been humble in a number of times this year, and that's another example of it.
Well, not only this year, but over the last few years. Let's have a look.
Media journalists, you figure it out.
No, how does it impact the club, though?
Next question.
No, how does it impact the
Next
club?
question.
No,
Thanks, Tony.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on, mate. Give me a scrap.
I'd really love to see Kane.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. That's his job.
Sure.
He's there to write comments.
Okay. But do you give that any credibility, though?
Please.
Oh, it was a horrendous game of football, there's no doubt about that. Well, there's not much I can do. I'm sitting there, we're attacking, and we've got 75,000 people in our forward 50, so it's pretty hard.
There's a few players out there making comment. Mainly, I'm looking at David Swartz here. I played a grand final against that bloke, and within 20 minutes of the game, he was crying.
Now, let's not get club loyalty arguments now for this. This is a coach who sometimes just behaves as though he's bigger than the club. And his ban on free AW is one example of that. Why would you ban the top-rating football station in the country because of one journalist whose comments you didn't like? You don't have to go on with me. And some of those comments, I think the club at the time saw him in the zone, in the mood, and probably weren't quite as tough on him as they maybe should have been. And I just hope at some point now they are, because there's just a pattern emerging. And I don't like journos asking coaches, you know, Matthew Lloyd said this, what do you think about that? Because if they think it, they should just put it on their own opinion, not Jonathan Brown. But why would you make the comment about Jonathan Brown going out and coaching? That was a perfectly valid point about Tom Lynch.
It's an interesting one because David T gets hammered for not giving enough, and then Damien Hardwick maybe gets...
There's a line, though, isn't
he? He gets emotional, he probably gets protective of his players.
He gets personal, Matthew,
I know,
what he gets.
I know he does occasionally, but I think along the journey, the passion he's got... I think Kane defended Joel Selwood. I defend Damien Hardwick because I think it's what makes him a great coach and a player's coach because of the passion he exudes.
So it's good enough to make snide personal comments about people.
And it's going to be hard, Lordo, when, like, because you're winning, you get away with a bit more. You could have thrown the comment about Marvel Stadium in there. How foolish does that look now with the situation that we're in? And
the groundsman at the MCG, who he just pilloried for no reason.
Tom Lynch had 2 kicks on the weekend against the 18th team. Jonathan Brown would produce more than that. So there's a line where their criticism is fair, and what Jonathan Brown said wasn't over the top, and I agree with Wayne Carey's response.
He looks like he needs a holiday, Dimmer. It's been a tough couple of years for everyone in footy. He looks like he needs a break, and the irony...
It's been tough on a lot of people.
It might only be 2 weeks away for a break, which he wouldn't be used to.